Hey guys, what you up to?
Oh, just watching Loki.
Yeah, wouldn't that be weird to like fall in love with yourself from like a different universe or something like that?
Yeah, like some kind of weird interdimensional version of Narcissus.
Like, could you imagine just looking at yourself and going like, "Oh, honey, I love you." Yeah, because that would be totally weird. Yeah, very weird. Yeah, I don't know who would in the right mind would like fall in love with themselves. Like that's super weird. Oh, look at the time. I have something really important to do. Some very crucial stuff that I need to do. So I'm just gonna go now. Okay. Bye. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jake, this channel is called Jake of All Trades, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Honey and a compare and contrast of Band-Maid's cover of it as well as the original version by, I'm so tempted to say like MUCC because it looks like an acronym, but when I looked it up on Wikipedia it said MUCC? Or MUCC. Please tell me if I said that correctly. Put a little pronunciation thing in the comments letting me know if I said that right. I'm hoping so. It wasn't the song I was thinking of. I was thinking of like... Oh, honey. Anyway, so this request has been spearheaded by Curtis R. Robles, putting in quite a few requests over the course of time. He had 45 comments. We had BM for Life, Gary Holloway with 5, Tef Physics with 3, and Vegeta Rabbit. So, I think that about does it for this introduction. I am going to start off with the MUCC version, the original version of Honey, and then I will go to Fernando's Hideaways channel. Don't know where to put the apostrophe S on that one because there's already an apostrophe S in it. Fernando's Hideaways channel to do the Band-Maid cover, and it looks like there's a nice little collage there as well, so that should be fun to see as well. So without any further ado, let's get into MUCC's version of Honey. Okay, so getting into Honey by Band-Maid, I just need to let you guys know this is actually going to be my second-ish run-through of Band-Maid's cover of Honey, and the reason for that is because about halfway through my first run-through, I got loud pounds on the door, and my wife stormed in saying we need to go right now to go do something. It's urgent. And so throwing that clip up on the internet would not be doing anyone any good services at all. So just needed to let you guys know that this is only going to be a half-blind reaction instead of a fully blind reaction because of that. So I made it to about the 155 mark or something before that happened. So the first part of the song is I've heard once. The rest of it I have not. So just letting you guys know before I get into this. So here we go. I don't remember there being synths in the last, in the original version, so this is already a different take on the song. kind of seems to be going double time on this. Maybe the original version wasn't so much double time. Not till later anyway, I thought. Be quiet while Konami is speaking, and Miko, I guess, too. You know, I was gonna say that this version sounds a lot more polished, but they keep some of the same elements. Oh, that was so interesting. Okay, so not quite as scratchy at the end like the other version. Really interesting take on it. Okay, so I'm starting to go back and try to re-listen to it to kind of get the differences, because it seems like Band-Maid took the original version and just really made it their own. There's a lot of bands that will follow like when they're doing a cover, follow things exactly as they are, and some of the covers that I've been trying to put together of things follow very much the format of the old version, just trying to like update the sounds, you know, rather than well, not update the sounds, but like apply a new sound to the same structure, whereas like Band-Maid seems to have taken some liberties with the song and add a lot more elements, change some things around to really make it their own. And starting with the introduction, it's very clear, like in the original version of the song, like there's a lot of like scratches and like lots of just playing around with sounds, and then you have a clean version of the main riff before it gets into a little bit more of an overdriven version of that riff, whereas that Band-Maid doesn't do that. They have a kind of like a synth opening and kind of like this how do I put it? They have this kind of flowing back and forth. Like as I'm listening, you can kind of hear like a little bit of snare going from one side to the other, while the synth just kind of seems to be drifting from left to right. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. It kind of gave me a little bit of a sense of like ocean waves, you know. So I thought that was kind of a fascinating way to begin. And then they go straight into the distorted version of that main riff. So I thought that was interesting that they kind of skipped the clean version entirely. All right, so then for the verse, one of the other things that Band-Maid did to kind of like take the song a little bit into, I don't want to say overdrive, because there were some aspects that were like more overdriven and a little bit crazier than the original, and then there are other points where the original was a little bit more crazy than Band-Maid's. Kind of like the introduction, for example. The original version was a little bit more crazy on the, with some of the crazy sounds and stuff, whereas Band-Maid's is a lot more peaceful. And then with the verse, it's just a kick drum on the original, with like maybe like a little part in the kind of stabbing into the middle of the verse there, whereas Akane is just like going completely crazy, double timing it. Like her drumming is so good. I love what she adds to that in that part of the song there. Okay, so for like the second verse, I guess you could say, not sure if that's the proper thing for the song structure. Maybe it's verse 1, verse 2, then chorus. But they have this in the original version. Like, one of the things I was noticing was a big difference in drumming. So like you've kind of got the pace being set by the drummer in the original version, but in Band-Maid's version, like Akane really does some fun stuff where she kind of keeps that double time thing going in the first part of the second verse, and then she kind of like lays back into like what the original version does, like the kind of keeping the pace, doesn't do the double time thing, and so I thought that was pretty cool too. Also, another thing I noticed too with the guitars, as I'm listening. With the original version, the is kind of happening in both ears, whereas in Band-Maid's version, it's just like, I want to say it's Konami doing the ba ba, and it's just kind of occurring on one side. So I thought that was kind of interesting that what was going on all around was just kind of being done on one side with Band-Maid. So it's just like so it kind of creates a little bit more of this back and forth, kind of like what they were doing with the synthy beginning, where it was just kind of like flowing back from one ear to the other. Whereas I think with the original version is just kind of like it's all there. Okay, so then going into the pre-chorus and chorus, in the original version, it's the singer is just kind of speaking something. I have no idea what he's saying, so if anyone has translations, that'd be great. What I thought was kind of cool on Band-Maid's take on that was, you had just one singer in the original version saying something, but then in Band-Maid's you have both Psyche and Miku doing saying whatever the lyrics are in an entirely different fashion, like Psyche kind of being a little bit more like calm and down to earth, and then like Miku kind of being all I'm hearing her high resonance, and like I thought that was kind of a neat little thing. Puts a smile on my face listening to that. And then for the chorus, I don't know if the original version has like a lead guitar portion, but I couldn't really hear it. If there was, it must be super buried. Whereas like Konami added like a nice little lead part, that, or she has better ears than I do, and she probably does, quite frankly. But was able to pick out a lead part or just invent her own, because she creates some really good lead stuff. So I could hear a little bit more of a lead guitar in Band-Maid's version, whereas the original not so much. Another difference that I noted too is that when they're doing honey, I don't think they're saying honey 3 times, but it sounds like honey and then something funny, or maybe they're saying honey 3 times and I'm just not hearing it correctly. But in the original version, it's much more of a gang vocal on that, whereas there are vocal layers in the Band-Maid version, but it's not as obvious. It's like you've got Psyche's main vocal and then like maybe like an octave layer down, just kind of like more supportive of the lead vocal that Psyche's laying down, whereas like it's like a chorus of people in the original version. So I thought that was kind of an interesting difference between the choruses as well. Okay, so getting into the bridge and solo, depending on which version you're looking at. In the original version, one of the things I noticed coming out of the chorus, they go into that main riff before they get into the bridge, and Band-Maid skips that. They just gloss right over it, go straight into that bridge section, which sounds like if I was doing like an open string drop tune or something, I would go 0-6, so like it would be like a tritone jump. That's what it sounds like. I didn't test it out, but that's kind of how it sounds to me. And I love what Band-Maid did. I was like, in the original version, it's like, okay, there's like some speaking like going on. And it seems pretty heavy. In a way, it kind of reminds me of Disturbed's Down with the Sickness, in that middle portion where he's going through like abuse and stuff. Not quite to that extreme, but just similar characteristics in that portion. Whereas Band-Maid goes a completely different route, and Konami's just like, I'm ripping a guitar solo like this. We're not doing a song without a guitar solo. I'm doing a guitar solo whether you like it or not, and how can you not like it? It was great. Just the way she ripped it. That there's a really intriguing part where she's just like going down chromatically. Like it was such an interesting take on the song. Yet I think it fits really well because the nature of the song seems very rough and unpolished. And Band-Maid goes off to polish it a little more, but just a little bit. They keep some of that rawness that the original version has, and Konami's guitar solo kind of has that sort of like kind of rough around the edges, like grungy, like alternative feel to it, and so like what she wrote for that fits really, really well. So that's something I really like about that section that Band-Maid did differently. So coming out of the guitar solo and into the final chorus, in the original version, he screams to go into the final chorus, which like he's a really good screamer. Like he puts on some pretty awesome screams, and I'm a little disappointed that Psyche didn't do that. I know like Band-Maid doesn't really do screaming, but I've heard Psyche get gritty at times, and so it's kind of like I'd like to hear her try. That'd be kind of interesting. So one of the things, and as they go out into the they play that final chord and it fades out, you can definitely tell that Band-Maid kept it a little bit more polished, and in the original version they kind of had all like the okay, you're taking your hands off the fretboard, you're kind of like, oh, you scrape the strings with your pick, and okay, we're gonna pull the chord out, or you just kind of had like those extra little noises where it's like normally those would be something at least if I'm doing a recording, I would just like cut that out. I'd just cut off the sound there and be done, but they keep that in, and Band-Maid doesn't, and so I thought that was kind of interesting that Band-Maid goes a little bit further in polishing it up slightly, but they still try to keep some of that raw essence to it without going completely overboard like in the original version. So thought that was kind of interesting too. Okay, so one last note is like in the original version, I noticed the singer was kind of doing like a little tremolo effect, and it sounds like what he was doing was grabbing his throat and kind of doing this as he was holding out notes. And the reason I think he was doing that was because I saw Fair to Midland when I was in high school, and there was at least one song, probably more, where the vocalist was grabbing his throat, and like when he wanted a little bit of a tremolo effect on his voice, he just kind of did this as he was holding out a note, and it was really interesting to see him do that, and it almost sounded like the original singer of MUCC, was doing that here. So I'd be curious to see if he actually was doing that, because that is a fascinating take on the vocals. So really, really cool to hear. So that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on all notifications so that you don't miss anything going forward. If you have any other suggestions for Band-Maid songs or other bands you'd like to see me do, drop it in the comment below and I'll give you a shout out when I do that video. Also, if you want to hear me do any guitar covers or vocal covers, leave those in the comments as well, and I'll give you a shout out when I do those videos. Thank you to BM for Life and Jonas S for supporting me on Patreon. I really appreciate it. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless you, and rock on.